anything off limits we shouldn't talk about, or you?
No way, not with me. Go for it.
Not at all.
There's no. If anything with me, it's just no limits.
Okay, cool. All right.
There are no limits. I don't know what what. Yeah, limits. Wow, where'd he go with that one? It's just.
Well, we don't really know where to go with that one, but welcome to the Stampy and Ranga podcast. We have a very special guest, Atlantis, here. We have known each other for quite a while now, and Daniel, welcome as well. And we do touch on a few good and interesting topics in this podcast, which is going to be amazing for everyone to enjoy. And so, welcome, guys.
Welcome. Thanks for coming on board.
Wow, it's guys, I just want to say both of you are rock stars, and the background crew are rock stars too. And it's just an honor to be on this. I was just saying to Nathan, how, pure I see your show. I just said it's purity and organic and real, and representing a sense of storytelling and journey.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's great.
That all makes sense too. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, where do you hail from?
Me, I'm originally born in North Queensland in the tropics with all the maniacs up here, and it's a great. I haven't been here for quite a while. I travel a lot, but Mum's getting a bit old and sick, so I've come back home.
Okay.
I've really. It's been hard for me because I'm used to being in the cities and doing a lot of stuff with fashion and art and things like that, but I'm sort of basically got my boredom of doing things has got to a point where I'm just actually pushing the envelope with everyone anyway. No one really likes doing things fast up here, which is beautiful.
I've been up there before, and I exactly had that same. That same attitude,
the island time.
It is exactly. It's island time, and it's. Do you want to call you Daniel, Ranga? Where are we at with this?
Anything you like. Yeah,
I've called him worse. Don't worry, I've called him way worse. We've known each other for 40 years.
Growing up as a Ranga, I've been called a multitude of names. And it just slides right off my back. So I'm.
You're actually very special. Your DNA's. I've been watching a lot of YouTube clips on redheads and their DNA, and it's quite special. I'm quite blown away. You should check some of that stuff out. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
I heard a rumor a few years ago, and they said by a certain stage that Rangas will actually be extinct. They think it's a recessive gene, and over time it will actually recede and disappear.
Well, they never will in my eyes, because people only die if you forget them, and they're always talked about at the bar.
We live on in spirit and memory.
They're very special.
Remember that Ranga guy that was at the bar that time?
Yeah.
That we all want to forget. Maybe let's just forget about him, perhaps.
I've had a lot of things happen at the bar that I would love to get forgotten, but yeah.
We can talk Nathan can't really talk either, because sorry, Nathan.
No, you're right. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, our friend here, Ranga, actually wrote a book on Confessions of a Courtesy Bus Driver. So not only did he get kicked out of the pub, but he got a job for actually driving the others home as well at the same time.
That's awesome.
That's for another podcast, perhaps. I don't know. You could probably talk about that, Dan, if you want.
Yeah. Well, it depends what side of the bottle you're on, I suppose. If you're on the bottle, you're the guy doing those weird, crazy acts. But when you're driving people home, obviously you're sober, and you end up seeing how you are, and it's a bit of a confronting thing. I still carried on with the shenanigans after work, but I suppose it didn't really have an influence on me that great, but
yeah, I think it'd just be amazing. I mean, that's for a whole other podcast, man. I mean,
we'll leave that one.
Yeah. So Atlantis, very, very, very big welcome, and we're so glad to have you on. And I have written some notes down here, and I really want to start off with You mentioned to me that you had some brain. We wouldn't say problems, but like you had some injuries or some issues with that. Is that correct?
I've had a lot of issues, Nathan. I it actually started with some pretty heavy mountain bike and snowboard accidents, and my brain was bleeding, and obviously
Oh wow.
getting all the MRIs and things. They actually discovered that I had a benign tumor in my brain that I'd had since birth, and that got pretty crazy. But it explained a lot of stuff at the same time. But I actually lost a lot of memory too. Which I basically had to rechange my life, and it was crazy because at the time I was sort of like, I guess one of the creative directors of Quiksilver and DC and stuff, and I was working with all the surf companies, and I just loved, I was one of the main surf artists, I guess, without talking it up or too much or anything, but it sort of everything just collapsed on me. I just did it. I was lost. I was just everything went blank, and in my eyes, everyone should have this experience. It just makes you lose ego and you become humble, and you sort of have to just scratch your way back to being like just being something that you are, because all that gets lost in that kind of a journey. And I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people in through accidents and stuff. But yeah, enlightening at the same time. If you asked me when it happened and a couple of years after it, I wouldn't have said that. I was just hating everything that was going on. But it made a lot of sense, and yeah,
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, like just having that journey. I mean, like I obviously haven't had a brain injury as such, except for self. Yeah, like yeah, I've been through a couple of incidents in my life, sort of thing. But like something like that, like a brain injury. I mean, like it's got to change your, it's got to change your perception a fair bit. I mean, like I'm trying to even lead into like your artwork, which is amazing. Like, do you think like your experience with having such a time period like that influenced in your artwork? Like your artwork is
Oh,
amazing.
100%, 100%. They want to take the tumor out now, and I'm sort of like, is this going to affect my art? And they're like, no, no, but it's just like I've got this thing, like maybe it does. Maybe I can't be creative anymore, but I've always been creative. Like I can't get rid of it. It's like it's a beautiful curse, like my dad was a builder, my brother's builders, all my friends are builders. So I've grown up just concreting and concrete shuttering and roof tiling, and I've always done art, and they've always kicked me off the job site. Like I remember in England.
Hang on, wait up.
Yeah.
Why did they kick you off the job site? I mean, like, were
Oh,
you?
because they'll be pouring a slab, and I'll draw all the portraits of the Beatles or something in the slab at Smoker, and they're like, "You shouldn't be here. You should be doing art." Like, and not, I'm just like, "No, I need the job. I need the money." You know what I mean? And that's just happened. And plus, I was just shit at sort of sticking to one thing.
Yeah.
I love hard work, but it's just, obviously the brain thing's really shut down my immune system now, and it's kind of just all I can do is art. So I call it the beautiful curse because that's all I
Yeah,
can
that's
do.
it.
That's all I can do, Nathan and Daniel, I guess now in my life. And I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's called chaos. I'm not going to say it hasn't, and then you've got all the gender stuff that's come from the tumor, where it's sort of like it's a pituitary gland tumor, but it's just messed up all my hormones. So I'm kind of Wonder Woman inside and the Hulk on the outside, and that's in my circles, it's not been easy. I guess
You said that
that's
so
a whole
well. Like,
podcast just in that one.
you said that in a nutshell. Can you say it again? Just like
Wonder Woman in the Hulk's body.
a Wonder Woman in a hog's body. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
pretty
amazing.
much
That
what
is
it's been like
exactly.
for me. And I've done all these
I
stupid
think you
ass
nailed it. Yeah.
with in life, you know, what, you've always been an inspiration to me, especially when you're in the desert and you did that massive jump with
Yeah.
was that with Robbie Madison
Yeah,
towing you?
yeah. He's one of my buddies.
Legend.
We
Yeah,
worked
Robbie.
together, and he towed me in, and I feel like I inspired him, and we inspired each other. Like that's what like riding for Red Bull is. I mean, like, but as in all athletes, we all work together at any given stage. So that's just what we do. So
You
And
mentioned
you,
Atlantis.
oh, sorry,
Oh,
Daniel.
sorry, I was going to say, you mentioned, with you were scared, like if you had this operation, you would lose your creativity.
Yeah, I'm
I've
not
heard,
sure whether it would or wouldn't, but I,
yeah.
don't want to really take that chance, Daniel.
I've heard stories
Yeah,
of where it's happened the other way, where someone's had
yeah,
you know a brain injury or something like that, and they've actually become creative, or they've all of a sudden learnt to speak a foreign language, like they can speak fluent French or Chinese or something after this accident. I,
great.
you did
It's a
actually answer my
great.
question for me, but the when you said that you had this
Yeah,
benign thing from birth,
yeah.
so um,
But Daniel, it's what you're saying is a great prelude into consciousness, and not many people talk. I don't think a lot of scientists and doctors and just people in general talk about consciousness enough. And like one thing I could say that would come from it, and it's going to sound really weird and freaky, but I kind of like I can feel people's energies more than I can feel who they are.
yeah, yep.
Which is kind of really weird. Like even if I'm walking in Sydney or Brisbane or somewhere, and there's a big crowd, I sort of feel everyone's energies as they're going by me, and I kind of feel if they're good or bad. I think that's something that actually really happened out of that. Hell knows what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you say? Like it totally sparked your internal energy to then create and then like be more creative
Yeah,
again.
100%, 100%. Definitely, it's did something to me where it made me realize like I have a job to do in this life, and and I'm very empathic anyway, and I get a lot out of helping people. I probably need to help myself more, but I do. I get a real buzz, especially all the kids and that, like up and coming artists and things. I love putting them in positions where they have to do things. I push them off the cliff,
Yeah,
so the
it's the
net
best
sort of
way to learn.
catches them, and
Yeah,
they do
that's
things
it. Like they
themselves.
need a bit of they need a bit of a yeah, a big push then. I mean, like just going through through experiences that we've touched on. I mean, like your artwork is really like inspired by that. I mean, like the artwork in the background there, like you've shown me like several and sent me several. I mean, like just the time period and um the education that it needs to then create that artwork on the pathway is such just an amazing journey, and like you're really explaining it to all of us that like that's exactly what it is. Like I can never do any sort of artwork like that. Is what I'm
I think
saying.
we're all artists. You're definitely an artist, Nathan. You're just your canvas is different. Your canvas is like a 10-foot kicker and 100-foot gap. That's or something.
Yeah, well, that's
And
the
Daniel's a
template.
different canvas again. And you guys have been through a lot too. And it's just the biggest thing to me is getting back up. It's and I've mentioned this to you before. Like. I feel responsible now, like we all fall down, all of us have this thing in life, we're not always like happy and shiny and amazing like social media is, like, and it's a big thing to actually even say on social media that you're actually feeling shit,
Yeah,
and things aren't good, but you have to get back up. You have to, and if you don't get back up, and that's you die young. You're dead before you die, sort of thing. And and someone like you is evidence of that. I look up to you, Nathan, and I've only just met Daniel, but obviously Daniel's an amazing person too for being friends with you. You've been through so much, and you've sort of got back
That's
up again.
man, like me and Ambrose, I mean, like me and Ranga, like we've been
Yeah.
through thick and thin with all sorts, and it's just what it is. I mean, like it's what it is. It's what friendship is, and that's exactly what our podcast is all about. It's
Yeah.
just like bringing everyone. Like it doesn't matter on gender or like
Yeah.
personal preference. Like we just want to invite absolutely anyone to our podcast just to say anything. I mean, like I just want to like have a little bit of an interruption here. It's not an interruption, but like
Tell me if I'm
I've just
talking
been.
too fast too, because I get excited and I sort of
No, keep going,
because I just don't shut up.
keep going. Don't worry, keep going. I mean, like
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
like a
want to
top fuel engine that just has to get to the 1 mile, the quarter mile. You know what I mean? To the end,
all
it
right,
just doesn't
all
stop.
right, don't worry. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so, so my very good girlfriend and fiance Sarah has just sent me something very important. So, what do you think about Freddie Mercury when he came out as being like transgender or gay or part of
He
that
came out as
community?
gay. I think he changed the world a lot, by doing that. I think he had to. I think he was in a place where he just got so so sick of being silent and had
Yeah.
to sort of be himself. A lot of I was going to say this before. Music is a great example of this whole art thing. It's like if you stop listening to new music, you sort of stay stagnant and don't grow new. Even if you don't like the new music, but if you listen to the new music, you grow new. And I think someone like Freddie Mercury, he sort of he was always growing new because he was at the top of everything. He was
Right.
humble, he was quiet, he was loud, he was full on, and it could be everything. And I think the fact that he just went, no, I'm just purity and I'm myself and I'm in line with the universe. And then I think that was a big thing, him coming out, it was really special.
Probably
You know,
too.
it's
At the time that he did, Queen was the biggest band in the world. I suppose that could have made them or broke them if and especially around
100%.
around that time,
Yeah,
you know there was a lot of
yeah,
I suppose adversity about
yeah.
homosexuality and all that sort of stuff. So I suppose they took the punt and went for it, and it paid off for them, didn't it?
It did. It's there's a lot of difference between being gay and being transgender.
I'm
It's
not sure
sort
he
of
was
like,
transgender, was he? I think he was.
no, he was gay. He was gay,
Yeah.
but Nathan said that. But it's an interesting subject. Like for me, it's like I'm in this place where I've been around the most hardcore everyone, that most hardcore athletes, and growing up with a father who was a champion Ironman and boxer and footy player. Everyone in my family is just over masculized, and it's just me going through life as, like I said, Wonder Woman in a guy's body. But then it's sort of like I don't believe trans girls should go against cis women and all that kind of stuff. And I don't believe in pronouns for my age group, but I believe in pronouns for kids. I think it's really sad. Like our youth now, they have to have labels to live by. And it's, our age group, we sort of don't really, like, God, if you want to be a dolphin, be a dolphin. Who cares? Just don't preach it to someone else, whatever. But I think their age group, they need these labels, and it makes me think, where's the world even going?
Yeah.
With all this, it's a hot subject, and it's a big one. But I think if you just love life and love everyone for who they are, and you just be you, and that's all that really matters in this life at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't mean
that's
to
exactly
change the
right.
direction, but I was just sort of
Oh
like,
no, it's totally
it
fine.
sort of sparked some things in me then. I was like, holy shit,
It's,
yeah.
it's totally fine. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I I grew up in a mountain bike industry where like I'm not going to try and categorize it, but like a lot of the women they are gay, and
Yeah.
so like some of my best friends are those people still. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to name any names.
Yeah.
It's not part of the podcast, but like being part of that sport and just being a part of it it was amazing, and it just became very accepted.
Yeah.
It really was, and like to be honest, I don't bat an eyelid or an eyelash or whatever you want to call it
Yeah.
when it comes to like trans or being gay or anything like that. Like I've got gay guy friends and
Yeah.
girlfriends. It really doesn't matter. I mean, like, I think trans is a very, very good way to connect the two in some sort of way. I mean, I
It's
think that's just
it's it's
awesome.
you really one thing I've noticed is I help a lot of friends with their relationships because I guess you can see it from the guy's side and you can see it from the woman's side as well, and that's a really big thing, to be able to do that, like seeing it from both sides, because you can sort of say, hey, she's feeling like this and she needs to say this, but you're not letting her, and you're sort of doing this, and it's sort of, you can just see it so clearly all the time. So I guess it's like having superpowers in that way.
Yeah.
And it's great that there's people like you, it's just you're incredible. You're shaman. You're shaman, Nathan. Totally
Not a
bizarre.
problem. I don't know if I'm a
Yeah.
shaman, because I think a showman actually, well, a showman leads a lot of people. I mean, like I have inspired a lot of people in my life, that's for sure, for good and bad. But I'm always there to pick up the pieces along the way, you know.
You picked up the pieces.
As I step along,
you've gone up, you've gone down, and now you're back up again. You know, you've sort of, you know,
unless you do a full circle, then you haven't lived life, have you?
Yeah. I remember once, I don't want to drop names or anything, but I remember once, I think it was Toby Price was having a party or something, and you were there with us, and you rocked up, and I was explaining to Toby who you were and what you'd done in your life, and Toby didn't even know who you were, and you were sitting on the couch. I can't remember what you were doing. I said, you know, Nathan is just really, really, and Toby's on the phone looking everything up, and he's just like, I'm like, you know, and then Toby came across to you and just started talking to you, and I sort of walked away, and I come back and you were still talking to him, but it was just so interesting because I just saw in your eyes, like your whole life just went in front of you, and you just talked, you know, where you've been, where you were now, and it was just this roller coaster ride. Like, oh my God, it was just, and I sort of was eavesdropping, going, oh my God, Nathan, that was just wow. Like I wish I could have recorded that conversation. Like it was unreal being a fly on the wall, because it was just you just saying I was here, then I was here, and then I'm sort of coming back up here, sort of thing. It was just I think that's so important for a lot of the kiddies to see that, you know, especially
I mean, like this is a great podcast because it actually it allows me to speak as well. I mean, like I've had my ups and downs. I definitely have along the way. I mean, like I came from a background like Western Sydney, where like there was a lot of unfortunate circumstances right there, and I still not how do I say this? I still visit those demons sometimes. Like I had to go to rehab, and I'm happy to admit that, you know, because
it's awesome you admit that. It's just
I knew that there was that I had to make a change, you know, and that's what it was. So and like being in that sporting environment was like a really that is what drove me, you know, and it just to continue all the time and just to really like show the people who I truly am, not what I, you know, the highs and lows as you go along. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happens for everyone in life. And a lot of people, like even our viewers might even admit they would know their friends and family that have been through ups and downs, and you just got to be with them, you know, and just understand what the process is to actually conclude and succeed. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
I think this goes back to what you said, Atlantis, when you have to learn how to do a lot of things again, you know. It humbles you, you know. Adversity, it helps makes you realize what you've got, and how you use it and everything, and you have to fight.
We all need a near-death experience. We all do.
Yeah.
It's you know, people like us, I really believe the crash is always chasing us. It's not like we're going to crash. It's just the crash is always like, even look at
you saying you're in fear. Is that a fear side of things?
I don't know what but even in business, you know, even like with Ranga, with, you know, all the boys at work and that, you know, it's hard, you know, it's hard to run a business. It's hard to run a podcast. It's hard to live life. But then again, if you just smile, it's easy. It's who cares? And I think even, you know, after that brain damage stuff and all those bad accidents, I just sort of went, well, hey, I'm here for a reason. I should have died. Like I'm someone, I really should have died a few times. You know, I've been through the windscreen of cars, I've rolled more cars and trucks than I could even imagine, and crashed so many like super bikes, just it's been mental. But I'm here, so I'm here for a reason. Like
it's like a game of Grand Theft Auto. It really does.
Oh yeah, it's just been. I wish I could make a video of your life, like you could go back in your brain and see what's going on, because it is like Grand Theft. It's just crazy. Well, it has been Grand Theft Auto in Cairns. Like one of the guys just crashed a helicopter stole a helicopter and crashed it into one of the buildings here just recently.
Oh my God! I think I saw something about that on the.
I just like this is Grand Theft Auto for real.
Anyway. That's a funny thing. I mean, like Grand Theft Auto was built around actual occurrences, let's call them, that actually did occur. I mean, like it was just a sort of highlight, not highlight, but just this is what it could be. And so everyone maybe just get it out on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then don't do it ever again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that game copped a lot of backlash, sort of thing. But it was actually really, how do you say it? Like, way over the top. It was far too over the top, and like there were a lot of haters on it. But I played it all the time. This is awesome.
I think we played many an hour together too, Nathan. It was sitting there.
What was that, mate? What was that?
We played many an hour on GDA, I think.
Oh yeah. Like it was just, and you get, and like, I don't want to talk about games too much, but like at the same time, you get rewarded. Like you go to the supermarket or the and you get rewarded for food to then create more crimes. Like it's just ridiculous. Kind of thing. Your energy level is by going through the drive-through and then going out to then buy guns. You know, it's just ridiculous. It really is dumb, the dumbest game ever. But that's the thing. I mean, like just having that exposure, and like you can even talk about this, Lannis, like just having that exposure and more awareness about what you're doing, and then just making yourself more out in the open on what you're doing is exactly what we want to do with this podcast as well. I mean, like just enlightening people, and you know, like we've had a couple of up and down, like some feedback from our previous podcast, like as they all do. But like these people honestly just don't have open eyes, and so this is what we're doing is fantastic. It really is.
Yeah. With art, you know, okay, I'll say two things. Like one is life to me is just possible outcomes. So there's all these possible outcomes around you, and if you don't do what you're going to do, and you don't believe in what you're going to do, and if you don't just jump off the cliff or throw it all on red or on black, nothing really happens. You know what I mean? But there's all these possible outcomes all around you, and if you do that, just things happen. And you know, with art, this is very important to me. If I do a painting and someone goes up to the painting and they say it's nice, I'm like, I've really failed as an artist. But if they look at it and go, I hate that, you're a shit artist, this is horrible, or they say, this is the best painting I've ever seen, you're amazing, I know I've done my job as an artist. You know what I mean? And
you've influenced them either way. That's you've got a reaction out of them. That's the...
And I cop it a lot from the haters. Obviously, being trans, and I mean, if I never even came out as trans, no one would have given a shit about me, because they're just like, Atlantis is a crazy artist. Who cares? Yeah. Like, has painted fingernails, wears dresses sometimes. Who gives a shit? You know, I'm like Dennis Rodman. You know what I mean? But because there's a label, this crazy thing, you know, it's, oh my God, I'm Satan spawn to all the religious groups in Texas and all this. It's like, and I just go, they don't know me. If they met me, they probably really like me, but they don't even know me. And it's so, next minute they're saying, oh, you just gotta, I don't know, you just really gotta go, hey, what other people think about me is none of my business, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean, like, there's always going to be critics, but at the same time, I mean, I really think this world is evolving as we get older. I mean, like, we're having this podcast for a very good reason. It's because you're an amazing person, and like, so are we. You know, and that's the only reason why. Like, I meet amazing people every single day. I go to the supermarket, I meet amazing people that work their asses off for like minimum wage, like we call it minimum wage in Australia, but like these people are simply amazing people, and they haven't even found themselves yet. And I really feel that Atlantis, you have found yourself with who you are, and you can just continue on being whatever and do whatever you want, as I and Daniel can as well.
Yeah, I had to. I've tried suicide probably about 8 times. Either I'm that stupid I can't do it, but I got to that point where this is stupid in itself. But I nearly did it a few times. I ended up on death's bed in the hospital. I was working at the wave pool at the airport in Melbourne. The new wave pool there for a while, taking photos, and 2 off-duty nurses found me next to the car, and I ended up 2 weeks later in hospital, waking up, and they're going, "You almost died, mate. You know, your immune system crashed." And they all sat around, all the doctors sat around me, and they said, as fast as you think you can run away from this thing, it's going to catch you. And that was just that moment, you know. It was just like, oh my God, I gotta sort my shit out, you know.
You mind if I ask?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, go for it.
You've been, you said, you know, like 7 or 8 times you've attempted suicide. Like, what like I've had a few friends in my time have committed suicide, and it always
I've known a few too.
It makes you think, what could possibly get you to such a dark place that that makes you want take your own life? Like, do tell.
It was easy with the trans thing because it was like I just didn't want to hurt anyone. And I'm so empathic, and I'm like, oh my God, if I say I'm trans, I'm just gonna. And I was just in such masculinity group and circles, and I really feel I've been a lesson for a lot of the boys, and it's been brutal, but it's been like this, like it's been like the people that I thought would love me and care for me and stand by my side won't even talk to me anymore. They're just gone. I don't want to mention any names, but it's pretty core stuff. But then the ones I thought were just gonna hate me were the ones that just picked me off the ground. We love you. We don't care. You want to be a girl, you'll be a girl. You know, whatever. You want to be called Atlantis from Wade, we'll call you Atlantis. We don't care. We love you for who you are. And it just blew my head off. I was like, wow, just wow, wow, wow. But I guess to answer your question, it's just been. Sorry, Daniel, what was the question again? Because my brain, I'm going the suicide thing. Sorry, I'm just going.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
It was basically what took you to such a dark place?
Just not wanting to upset other people. I guess I got to that point where I was just like, do I just shut up? But I'm gonna hurt. I think I got to that point where if I kill myself, I'm gonna hurt more people than
if I hurt everyone.
Do you know what I mean? And I sort of had some sense of, don't worry, I've been, I remember once I had a TZR 250s road bike, like a racing bike, like one of the TZ two strokes, and I remember doing about 190 on it, and there was all this wet grass, and I just sort of just drifted off the road and just let it go. Like it was just like didn't high side or anything. It was just it was in slow motion, but I was doing like 180 or something. The thing just got torn apart, and I had grass burns on me, even though I had a leather jacket on. But I just things like that. I just went, okay, I didn't die. That was dumb. Got to pay for the bike. Like, just why did you do such a, but I mean, my brain, I think fueled by emotion, a lot of people, get blurry vision on life, fueled by emotion, and they can't. It's like a cup that keeps overflowing, and they can't handle it. I've lost a lot of friends to suicide, and I'll tell you a story that's really wild. This only happened a month ago. One of the kids, one of the trans girls, literally sent me a video. She literally put her iPhone on a chair, went over, cut her wrist with a knife. And filmed it, and so we obviously had to ring the ambulance and the police. But it was like Tarantino, because you can't unsee this stuff. You know what I mean? And the blood's just pouring out. Awesomely, she cut it the wrong way, which was awesome. But that was just attention seeking. So, Dan, I don't know what people.
Yeah, I think a few times. Yeah,
it was just attention seeking, and it just made me really think, like, wow, someone's capable of doing it for attention seeking, as opposed to someone's capable of doing it as they've lost they've just got nothing, and they feel. For me, I'm going really, really deep. I hope you guys don't mind, and I hope
that's fine.
Like, for me, it was like, and I'm being brutally honest, and I don't care what anyone thinks of me or anything, but the thing was, I saw if I kill myself, I'd be reborn as a girl, and everything was right. I didn't have to live in this crazy world where it was all felt wrong. That was what it was for me. It wasn't like a bad thing. It was just me going, I'll get reborn as a girl, as a woman, and then it's right. It's not this weird thing that goes on with me on the inside all the time.
That's a great insight. So,
yeah, it's a very good insight. I mean,
there was a young girl not far from here. Similar things. I think she was trans. She was at school getting bullied a lot. And I think her father actually disowned her and said, I want nothing to do with you. She ended up hanging herself in the park down here, not far from
it happens a lot. It's so I don't even know what to say. And it's not just trans kids, it's a lot of kids. Just it's a tough one, Daniel, this one. And like, hey, it's good to talk about it. It's good talking about it.
That's it. Like, that really is the the only way, I mean, like obviously, like we're of age now, and like a few younger people that I've known, went to school with, they have paid the ultimate price to themselves, which you always kind of wonder why, as well. But like talking is the biggest key with everyone. I mean, like if you have a bee in your bonnet, then you need to talk about it, and like find the best people to talk about it. I'm not saying even going and getting some crazy psychiatric help, but like, you know, in your circle of friends, you talk about it.
That's
You
right.
don't fight about it. You talk about it, and you talk it out, just to make sure that like everyone's okay. You know, like there is that little program that goes out there. Are you okay? And that is a very special thing.
It was Are You Okay Day yesterday, on Thursday.
Or was it
Oh,
really?
right.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
worry about this with men, especially young men. I think a lot of men have trauma and they don't know how to handle it, and it's like it's not tough and strong to talk about it, you know. And I hope the next generation isn't like that, you know, like ours, where, you know, that lost a lot of friends to that, just the fact they just didn't want to talk about it. They
Strong, silent type.
they thought they were being weak, you know,
Yeah.
and and you know, like they call it the black dog out west, you know. And I've been out west on a lot of stations, and oh God, it's just heartbreaking because they're just like, I'm not going to be seen as weak, you know.
Yeah.
But if they would have talked, it would have been okay, you know.
Yeah.
Someone would have listened, and they could have got through it, you know. It's so yeah, you guys are right. Talking about it, it matters. And like even us talking about this now, I think it's important, you know. It really is.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to realize. I mean, like my dad always used to tell me, like, tomorrow's a new day,
Yeah.
and tomorrow is a new day for everyone. You know, like we've all been through hard times, like up and down times. Like
Yeah.
I can even think back to like my racing days where I just simply just wanted to quit. But then, like, tomorrow is always a new day. You get back on your bike and you get going again. You go to the gym and you sort it out. And like if your environment or circle isn't adaptive, then you will adapt to another circle or a larger circle. And like, you know, safety in numbers as well, like just getting your voice out to more and more people as it goes along. You don't really have to have one muse along the way. It's
Yeah.
important to have a lot of other opinions as you go along, and it isn't necessarily always family as well. You need to branch out as you go along through life, and like whoever you are, transgender,
Yeah.
gay, straight, happy, tall, short, fat, skinny, it doesn't really matter as long as you get out and like talk about yourself and like promote yourself, you know, and just like get out there, you know. Like I go to the shops every now and then, and I see some people there, and like they really look not depressed, but I'm just like I wonder about their lives, and like this is this is part of the podcast that we want to get across. It's just like you can be whoever you want to be, but you know, just branch out and ask and talk. That's what it is. So you just have to control your environment, but then have an open environment.
Yeah,
That's what I think anyway. I might be wrong.
No, you're right. It's funny. Like I hate to go back to mountain bike, but I remember right before Reece Atkinson won the Australian titles once, on his handlebars he had, "When you're halfway through hell, don't stop."
There you go.
That's what this is all
There you go. And let's call it 5 minutes. You're halfway through hell, don't stop. That's it. I mean, like I keep talking about mountain bike racing, but like have you, like when you have your race run, allow yourself to have two mistakes. Always allow yourself that two mistakes is a perfect race run. And that's what it is. And that's what I kind of think what life is as well. You have a couple of mistakes along the way, but then you still get to the end. But then everyone else has made two mistakes as well. So it's just totally fine, you know?
Maybe business works like that. What do you think, Daniel?
I definitely think that if I could only do two mistakes on the new frame that I'm doing next week, I'd be a happy man. So, but how'd you come up with the name Atlantis?
Because so when I was first born, mum and dad was sort of a surfer and a lifesaver like Iron Man, and they were going to call me Wade, but it was too radical, so they called me Wade. And I love Wade, but it just got to a point where, and then I sort of had my Instagram and everything as Roman Pace, because when I was at Quiksilver, I used to say to everyone to step it up, and I tried to get Step It Up as sort of a Instagram and a Facebook handle and all that. I couldn't. And then I worked out that a Roman pace is actually 1 foot bigger than a British step, which literally means Step It Up.
Yeah.
So, but then everyone started calling me Roman, and then the boys got a bit angsty and they were calling me Chumbi, which was Aboriginal for vagina. So you might have to edit that out. I'm not sure. That was. Then
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, but everyone, all the got boys in Melbourne and all the fashion weeks were calling me Rocco, like Rocky, and I just, and I had a whole heap of other names, and I actually completely lost my identity. I'm like, I've got to come up. I don't want to change my name, but I just got to come with something. But Atlantis obviously mean water, the sunken city and that, but it had my dad's name in it too, because his middle name was Owen, and so was mine. So it's like, I'm not funny about names at all, but it just was going in this like weird place where I completely lost my identity.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm going to be Atlantis, because it's just like, and I didn't know what to do. I was lost. It was really tough. That was another suicidal thing. Like, it was really like, I've lost my identity of who I even am. It's the strangest thing. It was like someone got Nathan and they were posing as Nathan, and they're this like world champion downhill rider and this and all that. But then they were calling themselves something completely different. And just like, it's just like, wow, what? I've lost my whole identity. It just felt like that. Like,
yeah. Well, you got to have your own identity. I mean, like, you talk about me like in mountain biking a fair bit, which is totally fine. But then like,
I'll give
you an example. I'll give you an example of how I got, how we ended up with the Stampy and Ranga podcast. I mean, like, obviously Daniel is a Ranga redheaded guy. Okay, so I got the nickname when I was younger as Stomper.
Yeah, right? I remember that.
Yes, I was Stomper Rennie. Whatever you want to call it. But then everyone decided that I was too young to be a stomper, so they called me Stampy, like the little elephant. I'm not that. And so it's just like getting a nickname along the way. And then like I actually learned, like, even my emails were like Stampy and all that sort of thing. But like, really, it made me realize that people actually care. Like it was Stomper, and then they were like, hang on a minute, you're just like learning at the moment, so you're going to be Stampy. And so then like Stampy is just like continued like through my whole life. And so like, I guess it's the same thing with Atlantis as well. I mean, like Atlantis, like, you've really grown with yourself. I mean, I see Atlantis as being like this big great person, which is gigantic in his life, and he can now do whatever the hell he wants. Like, just having that inside yourself. Like, I mean, Wade, your name is Atlantis now. It's awesome. It is. It's like gigantic. It really brings us all up. It's great.
It's a funny thing, because a lot of people still call me Wade, and I mean, most trans people freak out at that, but I have no problem with it. I know I've been that to so many, and it's just but it's just funny for me, because I mostly get called Atlantis, and someone will say Wade and I don't even respond to it, and they're like, oh yeah, I am Wade. I was Wade in another lifetime. I'm still a bit Wade. I don't know.
You're still Wade on your passport. You're still Wade, right?
I'm actually Atlantis now on all of it now. But
right. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's all legit. It's all legit. Well, I had to because it was just like I said. I just completely lost identity. A lot of people actually called me Roman after, from my Instagram. I was just like, Roman. They're like, hey, Roman. And other people introduced me as, I'm like, that's not even my name. This is my Instagram handle. That's my stage name. What's going on here? It's names are funny. Like, you can really, but going back to you guys too, Stampy and Ranga being a race greyhound is just like,
we can talk about the greyhound if you want.
Oh my God. I actually want to do a painting about that. I will do a painting.
I dare you.
I've got to do it.
Wade Lewis, I dare you to do a Stampy and Ranga painting.
I will do it.
I dare you to do it.
Can you please put a first prize trophy on it though, because it would have been the only one it ever got.
Number one. Number one.
I've got to write that down. I'll do it. I've actually
didn't he? Didn't he?
No, we got second. That was the best.
Good.
No, that's it. You put number 2 on there. Number
Yeah.
2. Stampy and Ranga 2. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a logo and a t-shirt up for the podcast, but I have got a present for you guys. It's almost finished. So this is a 3D model of a broken foot, and it's actually got and it's got wings on it. So what that stands for is like the whole getting back up thing, like when you're
Awesome.
broke. And I really want to give this to you guys, and it's got a 300-year-old porcelain cherub, which I painted black and gold, and he's holding a 44 bullet that's been used with a crystal for peace and love and
awesome.
prosperity in it. So I'll send that down to you.
Awesome. A true artist, a very true artist.
And I've painted this style here that it's been very true to North Queensland. Glenn Jacobs developed it originally, and that went across everything, all the helmets, all the cars, all the music, everything that we did up here. And it's very meaningful art, and I want you guys to have it, so I'll send it down. You two can fight over it, or I'll give the greyhound painting to one person, the other person can have the broken foot.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the broken
I'm looking forward to a broken foot.
It's got gold wings on it, so it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys
similar to your tattoo wings, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got tattoos on my ankles. I can barely give them up to you, but
oh wow.
They're there anyway. I've got wings on my ankles due to a
but I think greyhound would be a great thing to paint. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research on the artists that do paint greyhounds, because that's actually really cool. I guess it's a thing, isn't it?
Do you hold many exhibitions or
yeah, a lot. I've had a lot. I got mixed up really at a high level in the art world, and it kind of really, I loved it, but it kind of got really crazy. A lot of lawyers, a lot of accountants, a lot of sharky types. I had a show stolen not that long ago in Camden in Sydney, which really broke my heart. But
how do they steal a show?
They just ramroded the gallery, and it wasn't insured and stole. And my boss collects art at the time, and there was like a $1 million Banksy that they didn't even know was a Banksy. It was a rare a British flag that he defaced.
Yeah,
and I don't think they knew it was a real Banksy, but they took all my stuff, and that was right next to it. So thank God they didn't take that. But I mean, in one way it's cool. I can go, oh, they stole my artwork over Banksy, but in the other way, I lost a lot, and my friends and partners that lost a lot through it. And I've had a lot of artwork stolen, a lot. And again,
how do people do this? I mean, like, obviously you're very, very damn good, but they might have something to do with it.
It makes you feel like, okay, I've got worth, but at the same time, you're like, art costs a lot, it's just, ever since COVID, like the money, it's just crazy. Like it's about $2,000 just to do a painting, just in materials kind of thing each time. And it's just hard. But if I'm in Sydney and Melbourne and New York or Paris or something, you can obviously sell the pieces. Like once art gets over $10,000, it becomes investment. It doesn't become art anymore.
For sure. Yeah.
The accountant and lawyers come into it. But before that, it's just friends and family buying the art, and people that just like the art. And I love that, like I love being a people's artist, I love making my art affordable and stuff. But as soon as I play in that big circle, it just gets out of hand, I've learned a lot from it, and but it was a ride and a half, that one. But I'm trying to get back into that world in a way where I have more control over it. I'm not going to just get, like the guys that sell like $100,000, $200,000 worth of art, and I'd probably get, $2,000 or $3,000 out of it. By the time the lawyers go 5%, you're talking this huge money, or not that it's huge money to many people, but to me it is. Like one minute I'm eating bread, living on the street, and next minute I'm in a mansion. That's just my whole life's been like that sort of thing. But you just go, wow. But to answer Daniel's question properly, I've been doing a lot of shows, helping a lot of the kids out, and and the adults as well, a lot of up and coming artists, and I've been getting a lot out of that. Like we just had a big group show with skate decks, and there was about 90 artists in it. and that went really well. And about to do another show of that with like Nike shoes, and I've got a few other shows coming up that are really special. And I just get a lot out of helping a lot of other people. I don't know why. I feel that's why I'm here. You know, maybe I can teach them the lessons that I learned if they listen. You know, I've pretty much been the worst artist on the planet. Like that's probably why I know what I know, because I've just messed up everything. I've messed
Yeah, but
things.
that's what being an artist is. It's almost recreation in a
Yeah,
way. I mean, like I highly doubt
yeah,
there is a professional artist from day dot. You need to
yeah,
make mistakes to then make like any piece of art. You know, I mean, like
yeah,
it's not even making mistakes. You learn. You know, you never make a mistake. You always learn.
Yeah.
You know, and like for our younger audiences out there, it's just
yeah.
like you don't discipline yourself from mistakes. You learn from that, and then you recreate as well. I mean, like I've heard of like artists out there, and like it's been in movies where they're not happy with their artwork and they just tear it up completely, and they're just angry with it and throw it away, and there goes a month's
Yeah.
worth
Absolutely.
of their
I do it all the time.
absolute
Some of
work.
my
You know.
paintings. This one behind me, there's 9 paintings underneath it.
Yeah, I can sort of see that now. I can sort of see.
No, there's 9 different paintings. And that's actually been in 4 shows around Australia.
Yeah.
So it's been in
The
2
reason
big
why
shows in Melbourne. Yeah,
you've got clips all around it. I can see it. Yeah.
yeah, it's nuts. It's but normally
What do you
everything.
call it? What do you call that?
Oh, that one's a Blondie one. That's actually called Call Me. So it's actually Blondie,
Yeah.
and Blondie had a relationship with Popeye. So she had shirts with she wore shirts with Popeye.
Ah,
And,
gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, she's on the phone. So I just want to do a version. I love Blondie and the way
Yeah,
she
but can you, Atlantis, please? Can you sing it? Can you sing it for us,
call
Blondie?
me, call
Yeah.
me,
Can
call
you
me.
sing?
I wish I could sing. I've never been able to. I don't think I can. Everyone around me has been such good musos. Like, and I've just
You
like,
never
you
had to
guys do
sing.
the
You never
music.
had to
And
sing.
yeah, I've actually been around a lot of bands and a lot of recording. Like I've been in there for some reason. Everyone loves me being in the recording studio. I don't know why they all love me being in recording studios, but like God, I can't play music for crap, and I can't sing. I wouldn't even know
I
the
used to
lyrics.
play bass, but then my brother stole it. So yeah.
I wouldn't even know. But yeah, mistakes are windows of opportunity, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But hey, I love you guys because like all my time with all the big companies and that, I was never allowed to talk. You know, I was the one person that was never allowed to talk on podcast or interviews because I'd always tell the truth.
You weren't allowed to talk.
Atlantis can't talk. Atlantis
Atlantis,
do
you're not
not
allowed to
let,
talk today. Actually,
yeah.
maybe you shouldn't come in today. Actually, no
No,
way.
well, it was
That is
like
not the
that for a
Stampy
lot of
Ranga
years.
podcast at
We'll have a
all.
meeting with HR.
I was too loose. And I was too real, you know. Like I'd say all the things they didn't want anyone to hear.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, don't come in. Come
yeah,
in on Monday, please.
We'll call
yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's happened a lot of times too. Don't worry.
Oh man, I can't
Sometimes I've
imagine.
been stacked more than 15 times at some of the companies. Just an executive's having a bad time with his wife or something, then that comes in, then I've been doing every night for like a month, and then I have a big fight with him, and then I just take off up the mountain snowboard for 2 weeks, and they're like, okay, come back now. Like, it's been my hand. Or I have really stuffed up something, I've done some silly stuff, but we all do, you know.
Yeah.
That's
As we
life,
do, as we
learn
do.
from your mistakes, and hey, I'm glad I've done this stupid shit because I can teach people that like you can do stupid shit but you end up here, or you can do good shit and you end up here, and I think, and I've seen some go way past me. Some of the kiddies, God, they go way past me. I teach them how to sell their art. I teach them what's commercial. I just need to do it for myself, but they go way past me. They get clothing brands and all sorts of
Yeah,
things.
right.
It's like feels
Yeah, well,
good,
that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
but I'm still eating bread and butter and drinking water and living on the street half the time. But the other half's good. I do have beautiful friends, and I'm very, very privileged, like they sort of help me out sometimes. And I think it's important.
That's great. Yeah, of course it's great. I mean, like, I can only bring myself back to like Stampy and Ranga. I mean, like myself and Daniel, like we've been friends for like 40 something years or 40 years, you know, like
40, yeah.
like we've always been through like thick and thin, things along the way, like some sort of like
the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Remember, Nathan?
That's it.
Oh, the quick Stampy and Ranga greyhound.
the quick
No,
comes second every race.
Stampy and Ranga like to chase the dogs. He thought it was a game. He didn't know really how to win because he thought it was like, oh, I'll chase you then. It's just like, no, you need to win. No, I'll just
you're
chase
going the wrong way.
But if you knew that,
do you have any pets, Atlantis, or?
I love animals. No, I don't, because I'm mum's sort of on her last leg, so I sort of just here with but all my family all do, and I love animals. I'm one of those people. I feed everything. I actually, there's a cat here called Greg, and it runs around. It's a feral cat and eats all the birds. And the curlew, which is this crazy little bird up here that makes this crazy sound. And it ate one of the babies, so I just went, I'm not going to let it eat the other baby, so I've just fed it all mince and stuff, and now it's this big bird, and it's awesome, and the cat never got it, which I'm happy about, but everyone's angry at me because this thing, it just follows me around the house everywhere. And Mum's like, you're not allowed to feed wild animals, and I'm like, why not? You know, it's just But even when I was in Torquay, I used to just feed all the crows, the magpies, like everything. I couldn't help myself. I'm hopeless.
Yeah,
I love animals.
Well, it means you're a carer. You're a carer and a giver and a very kind person. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If someone tells you not to feed a stray dog or animal or help something, then maybe they have a problem. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's very true. No, oh God, I just love animals. I don't know what it is. I love nature. It's just, yeah. I'm a bit wary of crocodiles. I've been stung. Both my son and I have both been stung twice by box jellyfish. That was probably the worst pain. But I've been bitten by crocodiles and all sorts of silly things.
Yeah, maybe not have a pet crocodile then.
Well, don't mix alcohol and saltwater crocodiles.
I think
it was a little one. It was only like a couple of feet long, so it didn't really down on me.
Don't mix alcohol and saltwater crocodiles. Episode 2.
Don't mix saltwater crocodiles altogether.
Oh, puppy! Oh, puppy, gorgeous. That's what a legend.
Luna the cattle dog.
Luna the cattle dog. Oh,
Luna the cattle dog.
Making her first
where's
appearance.
Mr. Pooh Bum?
Pooh Bum is in with Emily.
Oh, yeah.
He's having a nap.
Yeah, Richie's having a nap, my dog, but he's having a nap.
It's really funny. Sorry. No,
right.
I've got a really good gig this week where I'm designing a cattle dog rock band.
Oh, cool.
For the animation guys to do. So I'm illustrating them. It's just been hilarious going through social media and the internet just in general, finding dogs singing in rock bands. Just because I can watch dog videos all day. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. Actually, that's probably my favorite thing.
My last cattle dog, I used to take her to work every day, and I'd take photos of her in work position. So one day there'd be an excavator there, so I'd get her a photo.
Is it kind of like this, like like two dogs?
Get her a photo.
Yes, exactly. They look like hieroglyphs. They're hieroglyph cattle dogs. I like it.
I quickly came up with that. I'm an artist already. Like,
Daniel, you have to send me the photos of the.
I will. You can look it up. You can look it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's at cattle dog carpentry.
I'm going to check that out for sure. I'll check it out. That's great. That's great. And then I'll send you, and then I'll do the painting of Stampy and Ranga, the stingray greyhound.
Can you make Ranga's beard the stingray? Maybe?
We can do anything. We can absolutely do anything. There's no rule. That's what I love about art. There's no rules. There's no rules to art. There's no rules.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Like, honestly, you could walk. My philosophy on life is you could walk around town totally naked with a feather in your ass, and in 100 years' time, everyone would just forget it even happened. It doesn't matter. You do what you want in this life. It doesn't matter. As long as you're not hurting anyone else.
I'm going to get a feather in my ass today, and then call someone up in a week. It's like, hey, did you check that? Did you check that out?
Do you remember?
Hey, guys, did you see that? Did you see that? Maybe. I'll put it on the list anyway. I'll put it on the list of things.
So Atlantis, we usually wrap it up when we have 3 questions. You may be aware of these questions if you're a avid listener.
Well, I have been watching, but I'm not aware of the 3 questions.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Well,
before you do that, Ambrose.
Hang on, we've got a bit of a...
Atlantis, can you do something for me?
I'll do anything as long as it's not singing, because I'm not good at that.
Can you paint over this, please?
Well, we can paint that. That's a pretty cool painting, but
No, it's awful, and I don't want it in my house.
It's a painting of me.
I don't want it in my
Hang on, how do I do this?
Here.
I can paint over it, but it's a great painting.
Exactly, it's a great painting. It's a great painting. I had a friend that I visited a couple of times, and then she decided to paint me, and so
when
I was asleep.
It's creepy.
It's creepy, and like she wants to get rid of it, but
it's
like
kind
at
of
the
creepy,
same
but
time,
it's
I
kind of
think it's a
cool at
really
the same
great piece.
time.
I think it's a really great piece.
It is a great piece.
Yeah, it's just really, really big, and it takes up half the lounge room.
And it's creepy.
And it's creepy. She says it's creepy, but
we could paint it. We could paint an uncreepy painting of Nathan that goes next to it.
That's right.
Where Nathan's awake and smiling, and
That's creepy.
No, that's creepy as well.
No, it'd be awesome.
All right, 3 questions.
All right, guys, let's go with the 3 questions. All right, we're going to wrap this up in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got 3 questions. First one, favorite Metallica song?
Orion.
Yeah.
I listen to it all the time. Actually, it's like I listen to. I don't know if you know about Jocko with Good, where everything's bad and he says that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. I listen to Jocko that clip, and I also listen to Metallica Orion mostly in the mornings, and Black Sabbath.
Yep.
I really get I'm a pretty crazy metalhead, so.
Yeah, we all love metal.
Yeah, I love metal. It's the only music.
Yeah.
So, what's the second one, Nathan?
I don't have it on my notes here. I'm writing it.
Come on, we do it every time.
Okay. No.
You know it.
No.
You know it.
Okay, I do know it. Okay, so when you're cooking a steak, it's 1 flip only, or else, correct?
Oh, 100%.
So, yeah.
100%.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's right.
Look, you can. Sorry to the vegetarians, but you flip it, and when the blood comes through and it's seeping, then flip it again. It's hard for me because I grew up with a family that were all boxers, footy players, and butchers. So it's been, and my sister and some of my cousins are vegetarians, and it's been tough.
Excellent question. Then
here's another question: is it? When do you season it? Do you season it prior to putting it on, or season it whilst it's cooking?
Oh, very, very good question. Oh my God.
It's like a 2.5 question. Yeah.
I always season it like the night before.
Right.
I season it and then put it in a glass sort of tray and just let it go overnight. Like that's the way I've done it. But season it why it's cooking may be a better thing. I'm not really sure of that.
So, yeah, I mean, like with salt and pepper. Salt and pepper seasoning.
I just don't know what's cooking. What's cooking?
Yeah, because someone told me recently that if you do it prior, it'll dry it out. But if you do it whilst
it probably does. Yeah, no, it probably does. I'm not really sure. I actually have a lot to do with all the chefs up here, and because I've been bored, I've got a lot of food costs.
I'm going to go flip steaks today. Yeah.
Well, we're actually trying to develop plant-based salmon at the moment, which is super exciting. And that's been.
So these fish are vegetarians, is what you're saying?
Well, basically, but that's another whole podcast. But that's really exciting for me. I'm really good at making things look pretty, so they're loving me at the moment. I can make everything look pretty, but I have no idea what the food scientists are doing or anything, But all I can say, it tastes like salmon. It freaks me out.
I'm not
but it's plant-based.
This fake meat, this Bill Gates cancer meat. I'm not.
I don't know
Have
what to
fake
think of
salmon
it
before.
either.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's going there, and I feel well. Salmon's one thing I know a little bit about. I know the salmon feces, what it's doing to the environments that it's getting farmed in and stuff, and I sort of realised that there needs to be change, but I don't know what that change is. Is it make the farms better? Is it make the environments better, or is it make plant-based salmon? I'm sort of learning all that stuff at the moment. Interesting stuff, but I know the chicken tastes like chicken. Whether it's mushrooms, I have no idea what it is, but it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, you're talking to someone that loves me.
Yeah.
But I'm in this other world. But yeah, I don't mean to offend anyone. I just don't get me wrong. I love vegetables. My son is funny. He said once at a table full of vegetarians, if you like animals so much, why are you eating their food?
That's right. leave their food alone.
And my jaw just dropped on the ground because I wouldn't say who was at the dinner. Can you just say that?
That is I have not heard that before. I've been around a fair bit, but I have not heard, if you love animals so much, why are you eating their food? The next time I see a vegetarian, I'm going to have to bring that up and say, excuse me, you're an animal lover, but you're eating their food.
Anyway.
But,
oh my God! What's the third question? Our
third question is,
I'm hungry.
I'm going to go with the Tasmanian tiger one today. What are your thoughts on the extinction of the Tasmanian tiger? Do you think it's extinct, or do you think it's still around?
No, I know it's still around. I know. Are we allowed to talk about what Nathan experienced?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the tattoo on here. I could show you, but I'm wearing a gown.
Has Nathan talked about that on the podcast before?
I think very briefly, but he didn't go into the full story.
Yeah, briefly, yeah.
Do tell, Nathan.
I can talk about it if you want. I mean, like,
I'd love that. And I think for the reason that you were doing it, for a very close friend that passed away, and what you were actually doing, going to the lowest point to the highest point, had a lot of. Actually, you say it. I'm not saying a thing.
Yeah, that's
amazing
totally
story.
It's a good interlude. I mean, like, we did a charity ride for rare cancers, which one of my good friends, Paul Begg, passed away from a rare cancer, and my mother as well, actually. And so to give back to the community, as like all charity rides are, we did this ride all the way from salt to snow. So the lowest point of Australia to the highest point of Australia. So whichever demographic you want to put that into, but like along the way we saw a Tasmanian tiger and like a thylacine. So a lot of people were like, no way, they're extinct. And like, you're on the mainland, it's not a Tasmanian tiger, but a thylacine. They were all over Australia, Tasmania, the mainland, no matter what. We knew what we saw. I mean, like, we're not dumb, you know, we're not dumb people. And so like, we saw this thing crossing the road and then duck off into the salt bush. We all looked at each other. I mean, like, we were tired, obviously, but then like we all just looked at each other and just like, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? It wasn't just like, oh, that's a dingo, that's a freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex. We knew what we saw. And like, there's been a lot of people say that we didn't see it. I mean, it was a long time ago now. I'm talking, what was it, like 10 years ago?
Three people to verify it as well, who all...
Exactly. We all saw it. We all saw it, although sadly Paul's passed now. But at the time, it was very obvious what we saw. And like, we had a lot of haters just like, no, they're not even on the mainland and all this sort of stuff. But hey, we saw it. I've got a tattoo like right there on my shoulder. But I'd show it, but I'm wearing a jumper. You don't want me to disrobe at the moment, do you? But yeah.
And amazing.
I'll get kicked off Facebook again.
I just want to say one thing. You keep going, but I just want to say one thing at the end of it before we knock off.
Oh no, I'm totally fine. Like we did see the Tasmanian tiger, and so yeah.
Just to back you and to answer what Daniel said, I could get in a hell of a lot of trouble for saying this right now, but I'll say this much. I've got a very close relationship with a lot of the Aboriginal elders up here, and they know stuff.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say. And I can say places, I can say ranges, and I can say families, a mother, a father, and two pups. I can say a lot, but it's just I don't know what happens with me saying.
We won't tell anybody. We won't
Oh, well,
Don't tell anyone.
you can cut it. Like this is
We only get a few
obviously
thousand views
the
anyway.
area, the Iron Range, that we're talking places where there's a lot of rarely visited by man.
Yeah.
Except for scientists and obviously the indigenous, the Aboriginals know this stuff, and there's things that are just untouched, and there's other things in these areas. Like I've spent a lot of time in the bush, a lot of time in the jungle, and there's a lot of things that I can't explain. A lot of things that have happened to me I can't explain. A lot of things I've seen glimpses of, I don't really know what I saw. I can't really explain it. And even with going, I'm going to do it. Going back to a lot of the mountain bikers in Victoria, even with the big black cats, we've had a lot of sightings with them.
Yeah, I believe it. I do.
No one believes you, and there's I believe the people because they're like Nathan and you. They don't talk crap. I believe it. They saw what they saw because they're not people that talk shit. I believe it. If it was someone like me that saw it, it'd be a different story because I'd be like, I saw a big Black Panther. Oh my god! I'd be just mental. It'd be 10 times bigger than what it was, and it ended up being a Black Panther. Right? But in a serious
the size of the house, it was blue.
Yeah, exactly. But on a serious note, I have seen some pretty crazy stuff, and I do know the Aboriginals. They know things, and especially around that Iron Range. And there's been reports in government and scientists have said they found thylacine families in that area. I don't know if you need to cut this or not, but the government knows about a lot of these creatures. It's and they sort of protect it. Maybe it's a good thing, like maybe it's like the fierce owls. They're like nearly the size of a wedge-tailed eagle, and that they're up in the Blue Mountains. They're down the Ocean Road. They're in North Queensland. They eat baby koalas and possums. And it's an owl that lives on the ground. But the government keeps really quiet about it. National parks keep quiet about it. Maybe they just don't want people interfering with these kind of creatures. And I feel they know the thylacines are around, but they don't want to interfere. Like I know Nathan and Matt Holmes saw a thylacine. I know they did. Because of the way
there was no doubt in my mind that it was there.
Matt said the thing hopped. Like what dog hops?
Exactly.
Yeah, it had a funny run.
It
was like
a hop run.
Call it a canter, but that's a horse. But then it was kind of like a it kind of looked pretty unco, to be honest. This animal was not very good at running, put it that way. But that's what they do. Like with talking with some of the locals, they sort of knew about it, but then the roadkill, they go and get the roadkill for the easy feed.
Yeah.
And so that's when we saw them along the road. We were literally riding along, and then out of the salt bush, salt bush everywhere, like this animal, and that's what we saw. Like it wasn't a dingo, it wasn't a dog, it was a thylacine. We saw it.
They're pretty unmistakable animal, aren't they? With the markings.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
it.
you said, the way they trot along.
Yeah, I don't want to sum things up, but the fact is they're not extinct. They're not extinct.
I believe that too, and obviously Daniel does as well. I don't know if they're in Tasmania, but I definitely know they're in that area up above below Cape York and between Cooktown and Cape York. I know they're in that region.
There's Tasmania is such a lot of Tasmania is such an untouched.
That's
can't even access. That's so.
Well, I've been lost there so many times, and it's just. I remember walking down what looked like a trail that wasn't a trail. I must have counted 25 red-bellied black snakes because it was just so wild. It was just it was wow. And there was platypuses coming up to me in the creeks, and I've never seen that. They're so timid up here, and these ones. It was like they had never seen a person before.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is living in that area? It was crazy. You could go forever. Like you just could. I was just wow.
There's a good movie called The Hunter. It's got William Dafoe. It's all about Tasmanian tigers and how he finds a little clan of tigers. Great film.
Matt Holmes said that when he was with Nathan and they saw that, Matt said they another reason he felt they were thylacines was they were eating the brains out of the roadkill.
Oh wow.
And apparently that's what wild animals do to feed, because that's the most nutritious part apparently.
Yeah, that's right. And they go back to the cubs and regurgitate the most, let's call it protein. So like the most nutritious part is the brain. And like honestly, roadkill is probably the easiest way to access the animal's brain, because obviously it's had a catastrophic accident. And so then, so then the animal or any animal can then go and collect the brain and then give it back to the cubs. Yeah. It makes sense to me. It makes sense.
Wow. I'd pay anything to see that. I would have loved to have been on that trip.
It's embedded in my brain, like the memory of just seeing this animal and just wondering what it is. And like even the thought process of like, is this a wounded dog? Is it a dingo? Is it anything else? And then having Matt turn around and say, did you see that? And it's just like, well, I guess I'm not tripping now. Yeah. So yeah, that is what we saw. Yeah.
Wow.
No doubt.
That's incredible. It's been great having you on today, Atlantis.
Oh, it's an absolute privilege. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the deepest part of. I hope I've made sense to everyone and stuff. And,
yes, no, you have.
I go deep, and I go deep for a reason. You know, I'm very giving, and I just tell the truth. So I hope it comes across as that. And yeah,
no, that's awesome, man. All we can do is thank you very much for being with us and like giving a lot of people a lot more insight to who you are and your way of living. And we congratulate you with open arms and humble beliefs. Yep. It's been a great.
Where can we find your art? Where can we find your art?
That's a great one. Yeah,
mainly on Instagram as Roman Pace.
Yep.
ROMANPACE, and it's also on a website called ABEArt, ABEART.com.au.
Okay.
So
you can find some fantastic paintings like you've got in the background there.
Yeah, man, I must admit, looking pretty damn good. I must admit, I'm not a massive art person, but it's very easy to understand art, and I think that's what art is. So yeah, if it was all the same, it would be boring. But yours is amazing, dude. Yeah. It's great.
Well, I'm gonna have to do Stampy and Ranga, the greyhound, and we may even see some thylacine stripes on it as well. It's going to be an interesting greyhound, this painting. I have to do it.
Man.
I have to do
it. It's funny enough.
The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster.
It's funny enough, Stampy and Ranga's the greyhound.
Yeah.
Its real name was Tiger because it had markings on it like a Tasmanian tiger.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
This is Tiger, but then we'll call him Stampy and Ranga. Although, like, this is the podcast, of course, and like we named him after our nicknames, but
that was his race name. Yeah, Stampy and Ranga.
Yeah. He's the Tiger.
But, wow.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Atlantis.
Guys, right.
Thank you very much.
It's been an awesome time.
Yep. Lovely to meet you, Daniel, too.
Yeah.
Good job on keeping the language down, guys. Everyone.
I don't think we said
swear much. Oh my God!
I know. I haven't said.
Yeah.
or the whole time. All right, guys.
Thank you. Privileged. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, man. Enjoy.
See ya. Bye.
See you guys.